What's up? What's up, everybody? It's Friday night, 9 p.m., and I got a crew in the house. We are dropping a rookie mock draft tonight, Superflex PPR, and I think we agreed on tight end premium. I'm not sure, but let's just make it a little bit filthy, right? I've got an awesome crew. I'm going to give them a second to just kind of introduce themselves, tell them where they create content. Where you might can follow them, and then we're going to kick this thing off. Go ahead and start us off, DBro.
Oh, man. Derek Brown, work over at Fantasy Pros. All my content's there. You can see me on the YouTube. Unfortunately, you got to stare at this radio face or hear me on the podcast, man. But all the content's going through Fantasy Pros these days, dude.
Awesome. Disco?
They call me Disco. I am from the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. You can catch me on Big Draft Energy on Twitter with a bunch of hot takes. And yeah, that's about it, man. Just surrounded by a bunch of good guys and great talent. And it was always Mac Hollins. It was never anybody else. It was always Mac Hollins.
This Mac Hollins take.
Why?
Hey, Joe knows. Joe gets it.
Why?
Listen, man.
Joe.
You already know who it is. Your boy Joe Frick, Fantasy Football Advice Network. We're here with a good crew, excited to get drafted. And the Pirates are 1-0 since firing their manager. So we're so back. We're Super Bowl bound.
Undefeated, some would say.
Yeah,
true.
Don Kelly. And no one has fallen off the Clemente wall since. So we're doing good.
Dude, that was a wild video. Just got to say, that video was a wild ride. I was like, whoa.
That guy's lucky he was so intoxicated. I think it saved his life.
Maybe so. We got some people popping in the chat. Mine's whipping. Let's go. Brainy Baller, smash that like, y'all. Appreciate it. Lion Light, let's go. Disco getting a little love from Kobe and the Cattle Dogs. And Rusty Shackelford in the chat. Appreciate you guys. As we go through the draft, drop your questions in. We're happy to try to get them. We're going to throw up this draft board. But while we do it, Disco, real quick, when you go into a rookie draft, like everybody has their tactics, their like kind of how they approach it. What's probably one key thing right off the cuff that you're looking into when you go into your rookie draft to try to maximize your output?
I don't like hype. Hype is something that I try to avoid by any means necessary because it means people are overreacting on something that is not really attainable or sustainable in the NFL. I go based off of not just potential, but just based off of God-given ability and just being a good baller. Like I value being a good football player over combine scores, combine numbers, any of that. If you are special with the rock in your hands, you are somebody I want to invest in. So I'm a little bit unorthodox, but I've been fairly accurate in the past and hoping to continue to be so as my career as a content creator continues.
The man's also burying the lead. He does have a football background, so he knows what he's talking about too. So
I love it, and I'm going to kind of lean on you two guys because you're the guests. And so, I want to get a little bit of your feedback for our viewers on like kind of how you head into these drafts and kind of like where you make moves, pinnacle points for you in the draft class. DBro, for you, what's your number one take when you kind of lean into the draft? What are you looking to accomplish?
I mean, for me, it's there's definitely and people have ever followed my ranks, looked at my content and stuff like that. Like I definitely have leans of guys like they're my guys. And so a lot of it comes down to like, especially this early after the NFL draft, we were talking about a little this before we turned the mics on and stuff and we went live. But like for me, it's I want to get my guys, whether that's guys that stand out at my ranks, I'm aggressive on. And there are definite players, like if you're playing in multiple leagues, like that I'm lower on, but I'll get exposure to, just like if you're looking at Dynasty as a portfolio. But in a lot of instances, when I'm in rookie drafts, I want to get my dudes. I want to get the players that I fully believe in. And that's all the way through the board. So it's not just like, and it's nothing ridiculous. Like I'm not like taking a guy that I think I could get at the 107, 110 or something like that. I'm not taking him at the 104, but will I, reach 2-3 spots? Will I take a guy around earlier, like when we get into later parts of a draft, like the 3rd, 4th round, and not have to or trade in and avoid waivers and stuff like that? Absolutely, man.
Love it. So there you go. Good with the rock in the hand, my guys. So if you're tuned in, you're going to find out exactly what that looks like tonight as we hit this rookie draft. Go throw the board up. and let's kick this thing off.
All right. Do I really need to discuss who I'm taking at the 101? No.
I mean, maybe.
No.
I'm
No.
just kidding. No.
No,
And some of these we won't. We'll just rock and roll.
Ashton Genty. Enough said.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, fair enough.
Tyler, you're on the clock.
I love going running back heavy. I want Amari and Hampton.
So I'm up. So
You're up,
as I
Disco.
said, I'm a little unorthodox. I like to get my guys, and I like the people who are exceptional and special when the rock is in their hands. And nobody displays that more than Matthew Golden, the wide receiver selected by the Green Bay Packers. He is my guy that I am the most bullish on out of this entire group.
I respect it, dude.
And it's
Like
not
right
just,
now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, he ain't playing around, dude. No, he means now.
Like when I talk about Matthew Golden, I get giddy because when I say special with the rock in his hands, the ability after the catch, what he's capable of doing, you pair that with a healthy Jordan Love. Remember, guys, Jordan Love got hurt week 1 in Brazil, right? So we never really got to see Jordan Love get going. You pair that with a healthy Jordan Love, a healthy running game, a healthy Marshawn Lloyd, like DBro has been beating the drum on, because at least we have a backup option in case anything happens with Josh Jacobs. You're talking about somebody who is not just the best rookie performer in fantasy overall this upcoming season, but this guy's going to be in discussion as a top 10 wide receiver potentially. So I'm very bullish on Matthew Golden, not just this year, but every year moving forward.
So I have a question for you on that, because
Stay with
Matthew
your
Golden
chest,
is somebody that I really like as a player. What does concern me, though, is if you look at Jordan Love and how he's supported number one, he's very quick. Like, he's very good at distributing the ball. Jaden Reed was the closest that he had to a wide receiver one, and that also came with like the rushing upside that Reed has and the explosive plays. So do you have any concerns with Love not necessarily like featuring him in the offense and continuing to distribute what feels like what they have, like the international house of mid wide receivers? They have like 10 wide receiver threes on the team, and now they have this first round rookie.
Here's the thing, right? It comes down to draft capital spent. They're not going to go invest the draft capital in round 1 for the first time in God knows how long to get a wide receiver to not feature this wide receiver. He's a special talent, special speed, and they paid to get him at home. Remember, the draft was in Green Bay at home. So yeah, I'm not worried about any sort of, they're going to fabricate plays. He's going to get all the gadget plays. He's going to get all the deep balls, and I'm here for it. And I'm glad I'm early on it. And I see that some people are sad in the chat, and I'm here for it.
Just for point of record, it was the first time since 2002 Javon Walker was the last receiver they took in the first round.
Hey, look, and I love this pick, and I say that I love the fact that you go after your guy. Like, like kind of DBro said at the beginning, you got to go after the guys that you like. And the reality is, if you sitting at the 1-3, you probably, it's a risky take to think that he might be there again at the 2-3. So if he's your dude and you think, you got to roll with it. I love it. DBro, you're up next.
I'm going to take my wide receiver 1 in this class. I've been staunch about that throughout the entirety of the process. Tedero McMillan, come on down, man. I love the landing spot. He's a candidate for 130 plus targets year 1. Bryce Young, if the ascension was real last year, then it's wheels up for Tet. He's the unquestioned wide receiver 1 in that offense. And for everybody that's worried about like any volume concerns and things like that, when we did see Bryce Young also take off last year, this was quietly a Panthers passing attack that was 13th in neutral passing rate. So with now a true wide receiver 1, maybe that goes up, and maybe we're looking at a top 12, top 10 passing rate offense this year. But Ted, it's wheels up, dude. Love him.
It's a big take. And the analysts tried to come in and create the narrative that like he wasn't
not
strong at the catch point, and like,
I was told he was too slow to go top 10 in the NFL draft. I was told that no wide receiver, because we love to cherry pick stuff, goes top 10 in the NFL draft running a 4.5. Although in that sample size, people did leave out Drake London, who didn't run a 40, and Marvin Harrison Jr., who didn't run a 42. But again, I digress. He's supposedly too slow.
But DBro, they asked him in his freshman year if he watched a ton of film, and he said no. Aren't you scared about that?
And again, bad narratives. I was also told CJ Stroud would never be a good quarterback because of S2 scores. Fade that crap.
Well, yeah, keep bringing the heat. I love it. I love it. Joe, keep the fire coming. What's up?
I mean, I'm going to take the best player in the draft right now, and that's going to be Travis Hunter. They announced at the draft that he's primarily going to be a wide receiver. I'm not worried about like the double-sided role. I know that Disco is a big Brian Thomas guy no matter what, but I think that they have a lot of opportunity on both for them to both eat 130 vacated targets with Evan Ingram leaving. I don't see him necessarily being a full-time defensive player right away, if at all. So I like the upside. I think this is a strong running back class, and it's funny because the drafts that I've done, I haven't taken a lot of them. But for me at the 105, it's worth the risk, and I think that I can recoup another running back later if I felt that way. So that's the direction that I'm going.
You know, I like Hunter. My favorite thing about Hunter is the go up and get it. You know, playing cornerback, you're used to high pointing the football, and he does that from the receiver side, which is new, which is why you see him go up over the top of people and catch the ball. So I think there's a lot, like, you know, when they throw those corner routes and things like that, there's a lot of potential for him on touchdowns. You know, we'll see. He is that question mark player. Like if there wasn't a chance he plays defense, it's probably a different conversation, but I mean, they're working him out offense. I like it. Here at 6, and I'm a sucker for running backs. I always go running back heavy. I love my wide receivers, but I feel like you can just get good wide receivers like in the mid rounds. And so I'm gonna take and it's a lot about the backfield, but I'm gonna take Quinshaw Judkins here. One, he's a hell of a player. He's got a nose for the end zone. But 2, the Browns just have this thing, whether it's Jerome Ford, it's Kareem Hunt, it's Ernest Johnson, like whoever it is, somehow the Browns can run the football. And when you put a running back in there, I just think that there's a lot of upside for him. I do like Dylan Sampson in the complimentary role, but I want some Judkins there.
Nice. Do you have any concerns about the age of that offensive line? I know that's kind of been the pillar of that team, but it's kind of getting up there in age. Do you have any worries about that? Or is it just like hey, this is a dynasty thing. I trust the player. Just let it happen.
Offensive linemen, like age is like, it's like you look at it like whiskey, you know, like as they get older, they get just more refined and they get more complete. And you know, you see them play late. That's what I mean, you look at the people that, you know, like that they trade around or look at, you know, they're all older. It's a offensive lineman. I like him like a good old aged whiskey. So I'm not worried about that. I'm in.
All right. So Disco, that puts you back on the clock.
I love the pick, not because offensive linemen were like a good aged whiskey, but if you look at that scenario, nobody knows what's going on. The quarterback room is in shambles. The best thing you could do is, you know, try to protect the rock by running it a lot. So I love that pick for you. It's definitely where I was leaning, but I'm going to go with his running mate in Ohio. I'm going to take Travion Henderson, who landed on my New England Patriots. And I was quoted saying he is my favorite running back in this draft class. Yes, I like him more than Ashton Genty. I love his ability to be explosive and dynamic in both the running game and receiving game. I love the fact that he is a complete back. He will not come off the field in pass protection situations, and he's as reliable as it comes with the ball in his hand. He's a special talent and a special player, and I'm very bullish on Travion Henderson, and I love the landing spot as a New England Patriots fan.
Well, and here's the thing about what people don't realize, and you're on it. If Judkins and Henderson aren't in the same offense, and it's just Henderson, or even just Judkins, but just Henderson, then I think the Genty conversation as RB1 completely changes. I mean, you have 2 almost 1,000-yard rushers in that singular offense, right? So, like, what is Henderson's actual yards per carry if he's the only guy in the backfield? I think you probably have a different narrative. I love him. I love the landing spot, and Mike Vrabel's going to make sure he gets work.
Absolutely.
Hit
All
it,
right,
bro.
What do you got?
I'm gonna take my seeing this as this is Superflex. I'm gonna take my QB1 of the entire process, which is not Cam Ward. I'm taking Jackson Dart here at the 108. I loved his tape, love his skill set. All the Ole Miss stuff, all the narratives gets way overblown. If you watch his tape, he is accurate to all three levels of the field. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this. There is a lot of ball placement, his live arm. There's a lot of Jaden Daniels in there too when you watch his tape. And I know evoking that name, I was big on Jaden last year. He was my QB1 of the class over Caleb. I'm making a stand with Dart. He's been my QB2 of the process. I mean, I love the guy. You're getting rushing upside. The Giants, I think, are going to be a better team this year than people are giving it credit. So give me Jackson here.
Love it.
Do you think they'll start him week 1, or like at what point do you think that he'll actually?
I think it's in play. I think how he plays and how fast he picks up the offense and how he's progressing is going to tell the tale. I don't think if you were to say like we're making a bet whether Dart starts week 1 or not, I'm going to say no. I bet they let Russ play. I bet that he is the QB2 coming out of camp over Jameis. I think Jameis and Russ were just signed as like basically the emergency guys that like if they missed out on quarterback, could they float the boat until next year or next year's class? But I think they're going to give Dart every chance to win the job, but it's probably going to be Russ coming out. And then Russ is going to do things of like where he looks like 2025 Russ and probably only gets about 4 or 5 games as a starter. And then we see Jackson.
Now may I ask you, right after they selected Jackson Dart, Brian Dable was interviewed and he was reported saying Russell Wilson is our quarterback and we're intending on starting Russell Wilson as our quarterback. What do you make of that?
So if you read the entire quote, it said he is our quarterback going into training camp or something to that effect. It wasn't like he's going to be our starter. He's getting #1 reps basically in camp to start. But the way that he left the quote open-ended and the way he phrased it actually left the door open for Dart to start.
I appreciate the clarification. I was just genuinely curious. Thank you.
No. I mean, like, and the other thing about this dude is that, like, when it comes down to it, the best guy that, like, in camp, if Dart is blowing it up in camp and he crushes in the preseason, he's strengthening his case. I don't think they're going to hold him back, but I do think that looking at transition to the NFL. Now, I know that Brian Dable, I'd also think, is going to make things a little bit easier for Dart. The same thing with the way that the Commanders made it easier for Jaden Daniels and how they're going to structure the system. So I do think that is part of this. So to that point, we could see Russ run more and more RPO action because they're not going to change the offense from one guy to the next, I don't think.
Yeah, that should be a really easy thing, right? Hey, this is Malik Neighbors. He is your first read every play. Just throw it there.
You know, I like the one thing I do like knowing that I think they knew they were going to take a rookie quarterback going in and bringing in Jameis and Russ. They brought 2 very positive mindset driven people. And especially when you think about Russ, like somebody that could, because Russ isn't like Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers, if there's a backup quarterback, he's like, I don't give a crap. I'm not worried. I'm not trying to invest. I'm not trying to develop them. I don't care. Right. Russ is like, I'll bring you in. Like, I'll take you under my wing. I hope this work. And whether or not that's valid or not, he's still been in the game for a long time. And so I think that they did a good job surrounding him with like a good veteran presence to keep him centered as he kind of gets into year 1 and stuff. And we'll see how that develops. I'm with you, DBro. I think it'll be Russ in the beginning, but I definitely like Dart. So good.
Have y'all watched any of the Giants insider stuff, like the stuff they're putting out on YouTube that like where they gave the behind the scenes of Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart and stuff? Dude, when they put Dart up on the whiteboard and stuff, you could see Dayball just grinning ear to ear.
Oh yeah, he's excited.
Time.
Here's another thing that I like about Dart. If you look at Brainy Ballers in the chat, he developed this AI app. He's a fighter pilot of some sort, but Brainy Ballers, absolutely. He developed this app called the Star Predictor Score, and it analyzes all rookies coming out. And Jackson Dart is the highest rated rookie to ever come out ever in the history of the SPS grading system, and it's fairly accurate. So yeah, I wasn't bullish on him before, but after seeing that he was the highest graded SPS grade ever from Brainy Ballers, I kind of have no choice but to invest in him.
I'm just going to throw out there my last 2 QB1s of the last 2 classes were Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud, so I'll let my track record speak for itself.
No All right, Joe. I love it, DBro.
All right, so we said we were going with tight end premium for this, right?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, cool. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure so I don't make a fool of myself. So at this spot in the draft, there's really two guys that I'm keying in on, maybe three. But if it's tight end premium, I'm going to go with Colson Loveland here. I think that he is the tight end one. I know that a lot of people are pretty bullish on Tyler Warren. They like the opportunity that he has in Indianapolis to potentially be a top 2 target getter, but I still think that Pittman, Downs, and the lack of QB are a bit of a problem there. And so for me, even though it's a little bit more crowded in Chicago, I think he's a fantastic route runner. He's a little bit more apt for blocking. You do have Komet there. He's probably not going anywhere this season. You do have DJ Moore, who, if you watch the tape last year, did not look like the DJ Moore that we've known and seen for the last few years. So I think it may be a slower burn with Loveland. You're not necessarily going to see the Brock Bowers dominance that you saw. I think that's what people are kind of looking for. I don't see that happening right away, maybe if at all, but I do think that he's going to be a really good tight end in the league. If this is tight end premium, I'm not going to wait and see what's happening there. I think that Loveland and Warren are the only two guys that I really feel good about drafting kind of in the first couple of rounds. So it's like I might as well throw that dart right now.
Yeah, like it. I'm gonna go, and this is probably gonna clean up my running back get, but it's just because in Dynasty it's so hard to get good running backs that have year one potential, and if you're getting somebody that you got to wait 2 to 3 years for them to get, sometimes you don't end up getting that value. So it's just my position of priority. You could throw me to the wolves on it. It's just how I play, because they don't have the crazy life expectancy either. But I'm going to take I want RJ Harvey right here at the 10. I like me some RJ Harvey. I like me some RJ Harvey in the system. I like double-digit touchdowns, and I think he will bring it. I will digress because I know there's other RJ Harvey fans in this. I know that they've been, but I mean, probably it was exactly what we wanted. I felt like we went into the draft and we were like, where could RJ Harvey go? And when everybody saw the Denver Broncos, they were like, yes. And instantly his ADP rose from like a round 3 grade to like round 1. And, I think that there's significant validation for that.
I love the pick. He was my RB5 of the class going into it. He walks out of the class with the draft capital and the landing spot. He's my RB3 of the class. I'd take him as high as 105, 106, and not even bat an eye. He's 107 in my ranks right now in Superflex.
Love it.
So I love RJ.
I will add that I was also a Stroud and Jaden Daniels truther, but my beard my beard is not as impressive.
Whatever, dude. Yours is better than mine. What are you talking about?
It's not as impressive.
Live it up, baby.
Great
beard,
buddy. So I'm gonna go with who I believe is going to be an outstanding talent. You're not just getting somebody who's going to get reception volume and somebody who's going to get check down work, but he probably is the best quarterback on that team as well. And nobody's even considering the fact that Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones are just terrible at quarterback play. Bring me the next Wildcat, Tyler Warren. Put him on my team.
I like it.
That was spicy.
Right.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I like it. It is interesting. I know the thing that I've struggled with Warren and why I have Loveland over him is that the first 3 years of Penn State, I know that there was some talent in the tight end room, but he was pretty much non-existent and then just showed up out of nowhere and put up 1,400.
But let me ask you, how was the quarterback play up until that point? Up until his most recent season?
Yeah,
Also
I mean,
not-
Allo was
also not-
definitely a big improvement there. Yeah.
I mean,
for
the other
sure.
thing about that is that, like, I think politics also plays into this stuff too. Like guys and where they recruited, who recruited them and stuff like that. So like I've heard that kind of stuff. I don't worry about that stuff. I've also heard people say, well, there's a discrepancy between the age of Loveland and Warren. I don't care about that either, dude. If the tight end's good, they're good. If they're good, they're going to play into their early 30s, maybe mid 30s, and it doesn't matter.
Love it. Tight ends do have that long life. I'm still hoping Hunter Henry can do well this year.
Good luck. with this being super flex, maybe I'm not letting Cam Ward fall out of the first round. I'm not insane. So, again, in this exercise, we're not drafting specifically like builds of teams. We're taking guys where they should go. We're going BPA and things like that. So Cam Ward should not fall. I don't care what people think about this quarterback class. There's no way that a first round drafted quarterback should fall out of the first round in a super flex draft.
I agree. I actually like Cam Ward. I think that he has a lot of that Mahomes capabilities, like the off balance throws, inaccuracy. That make sure I saw that head jerk there, Disco. And he's worked for everything. Like he's not like somebody that came in as a 5-star prospect and was just given it, right? Like he's worked. And so I still don't know that Tennessee has their guys still undecided, which is why I haven't taken. This is one of those classes where I didn't take many quarterback shares personally. But I agree. There's not going to be a realm in a super flex league where Cam Ward falls out of the first round.
No, I agree. And my thing about Ward, and it's some of my trepidation that I had last year on Caleb Williams. Ward has been my QB3 of this class throughout the entirety of the process. Now with Shedeur falling to the 5th round, that plummeted down my ranks. But with Ward, now he's my QB2 of this class. I've got concerns. Like the high-end moments for Cam Ward are awesome. But the problem is he's a very hot, cold, streaky kind of player. That's why I comped him to Jordan Love. There are multiple stretches of plays where you'll watch Cam Ward play, and he looks like far and away the best quarterback, like the best player on the field. And then you'll see him go through stretches where he struggles and the ball placement isn't there and he gets rattled. And the down-to-down consistency for Ward to not only hit his ceiling, but honestly, like I'll say this, not be a bust, has to improve at the NFL level. Has to.
Yeah, just one more thing to add to Cam Ward. My player comp is Jameis Winston. I don't like him as a franchise quarterback if I was a general manager, but in fantasy football, this guy has all the ability to break fantasy football because he just has never seen a window he hasn't tried to throw through, right? And I think that's going to cause him to, like, just to tail off of what DBro was saying, he's going to have his incredible spike weeks. Sometimes he's going to break fantasy football, and then some weeks he's just going to disappear. I don't like the longevity for Cam Ward, but this year I'm very bullish on him and some of his receivers as well. And as for you, Matthiasen, I don't know you, but best player available, and you take Golden. Hey man, that's in my rankings, and that's in. Yeah, I'm bullish on him, and I'm looking forward to keeping this receipt, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do me right. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, so I didn't expect him to be here, but for me, I'm going to take Caleb Johnson. I think he's a really good fit for the Art Smith wide zone running scheme. There's going to naturally be a lot of comparisons to Najee Harris because he's kind of like a bigger running back, but they're very different players. And I think that like people that don't necessarily pay attention in Pittsburgh are going to be very confused. I really like the explosive running ability, which is something that Najee really lacked. And it's something that's really important at the NFL level. If you look at guys that are top of the league in rushing, major ability to break the home run and have those long carries. You look at your Saquons, your Ken Walkers, like all of those guys, like they hit the 2-3 yard runs, but then they'll break one out. Caleb Johnson was one of the best in college at having those long runs. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And hopefully that Steelers young offensive line can finally figure it out.
I love to see the capitulation, not by yourself, Joe, but like other people in the space when they were like, I'm going to bury Caleb after the 40 time, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes to the Steelers in the 3rd round and it's wheels up and everybody's like, oh, wait, I like Caleb and I like the landing spot. Dude, I love Caleb throughout the entire process. He was my RB2 throughout the entirety of the process. So no shade for me, dude. I think he's going to get a ton of work. Like 250 touches this year is probably the floor for Caleb Johnson.
And he has a clean injury history too, which if he's going to
jump into that role, you don't. I know you're a Jaylen Warren dude, but like still in that offense, what do you think the floor for touches is?
I think it's a 1A, 1B room. I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. So the floor for touches is probably going to be like 190, relatively 200 each. I think they're both going to get their work. And if I'm investing in one, I'm investing in both.
Okay.
I do like Caleb Johnson. I think he fits what they wanted Najee to be. They wanted a downhill, run straight guy. Najee wanted to try to dance. I think they got what they wanted in Caleb Johnson. I like that pick. I do think that Warren's not as far out as people say he is. So he's, for me, a late round best ball target. I don't think that that's a bad call there. Because everybody did it. I mean, they left Warren immediately in the back, and so I wouldn't completely forget about him. I think he is going to definitely at least play that Austin Eckler type role, which we saw be effective for Washington last year. Here, Rusty said wide receiver 1 still available. I think there are several good wide receivers available. It's one of those. It's a difficult best player available because I feel like there are a couple.
Luther Burden is wide receiver 1.
Say what?
I really hope that Rusty's not saying Luther Burden is wide receiver 1 for his sake.
Also, shout out Dustin because he does all of our graphics, so he could say whatever he wants.
I'm going to take, and I'm not taking, same thing. I think if you take Burden here, you're not really drafting him for this year. I think that Emeka Egbuka can have a role this year, but that's who I'm taking right here. I haven't been a part of a draft yet where he's fallen into the second round. So I'm kind of, and it's close. I find him right at the turn, but, I think that I'm not taking him for this year. Chris Godwin is what he is yet to be healthy. He's coming off a big injury. And then Mike Evans' contract is 1 year left. So who knows what it'll be like next year, but we could be looking at, wide receiver 1 for 2026, and I'm in there.
I mean, there's definitely a world where Emeka is very, very involved this year because Mike Evans has had a lingering hamstring injury for almost forever. He's definitely getting older. He's missed significant chunks of time pretty much every year for the last 3 years. So I think Egbuka can definitely get involved early and often. And then Chris Godwin, the reason why he took a massive pay cut wasn't because it's Florida and he's not paying taxes. It's because he's not going to be right this year. There was a catastrophic injury and he's not going to be okay to play much this year, if any. So Egbuka is a smash pick here and a brilliant pick.
I traded Jordan Addison for him straight up the other day in a draft.
Is it in what Dynasty?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like it. I think it's a great call. Great trade.
I'm always laughing because if it's like something I feel like DBro is like on the edge on, he gives you one of these. He's like,
oh. I would have gotten a little bit of sauce on top of that with Egbuka, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right,
I don't hate it.
All right, I'm gonna go with who I think is one of the better, more underrated wide receivers in a spot that desperately needs wide receiver help. Yes, Ladd McConkey has been absolutely spectacular.
Oh, you're gonna do it! I knew you were gonna do it.
But I'm taking Trey
right
Harris
in front of me.
This guy's got some bunny. He's got some giddy up. And another guy I like to talk about special after the catch, special with the rock in their hand. He's really fun to watch. I think this offense is going to be incredible. You look at that offensive line, it's improved, and it was one of the better offensive lines last year. They got Rashawn Slater coming back. They got Mekhi Becton, and even though he's a plug-and-play guy, he's still massive. That run game is going to be very impactful. It's going to create for less guys back there covering the middle third, and I think he's just going to reign free and just be absolutely dominant in fantasy this year. So I'm very bullish on Trey Harris.
Trey Harris had a 4.18 yards per route run against men last year. Like, that's just insane.
The yards per separation is just unheard of. He's got some bunny and special with the ball in his hand.
He also is a perfect complement to Ladd. Like, they couldn't 100%. Be like a better fit for each other.
100%.
That was Max Payne, man. I love and hate that pick so much, Disco. Like, if I was in any other room, I would have gotten Trey Harris right now, and I would have spit the same love letter that you just did. Like, I love Trey Harris so much. He was my wide receiver 2, and he was my wide receiver 2 going into the draft without Travis Hunter in my ranks. He's my wide receiver 3 of this class. Like, I love his game. We could talk about all the analytics. You could talk about the film. I mean, the dude is out there playing 4D chess when people are playing checkers. He's a really, really good route runner. I'll take one of my guys here. I'm going to get Jaden Higgins, man. Love his game. I love the landing spot in Houston. I mean, he's going to play. I keep hearing all these Nico Collins-esque like comps with Jaden Higgins. And I'm like, bro, like, have y'all watched his tape? Him and Nico are not the same dude. They're not. Like, he tested hyper athletic. He's awesome. But I was like, the secret sauce with Jade Higgins is you put this guy as a 50-50 inside-outside guy, put him into the slot, let him go bully some freaking nickels and just whip them to death on freaking in-breakers. Baby. I mean, he is a high-volume receiver for days, and that's no shade at Nico, but they're different guys. They complement each other's skill sets extremely well. So, I mean, Jaden Higgins, top of the second-round draft capital, awesome landing spot. Let's go.
Yeah. He fully guaranteed contract today. First second-round pick in history to get fully guaranteed contracts. So that was pretty cool.
Brainy. I love that. I love that. You stand in your
pretty
process,
awesome.
but don't waste. That's my thing, man. You either, if you're going to take the time, you either stand on your process and you stand behind the work that you do. Like, I mean, look, Disco in this draft, everybody in this draft is standing on the guys that they're going after. But my whole thing with the entirety of the rookie process every single year is you either stand on your process because you're putting the time and work and effort in, or don't waste the time. Go with the echo chamber. Go with everybody else's consensus takes. Because if you don't believe in what you're doing, then why are you going to waste the time of doing the work if you're not going to stand behind it?
And I will say Brainy is one of the more brilliant up-and-coming content creators out on Twitter. If you guys are not following him, please do so, because the stuff that he drops is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and since this is on radio and some people aren't watching the show, I'm just going to read the comment. He said, also, DBro, I've been told to shut my site down due to how I've pushed Dart as the QB1. Seeing you push him relentlessly just inspired me to not care about the naysayers even more than I have been. It's good stuff. If you play fantasy, go with your gut, go with your guys, because at the end of the day, if you go with somebody else's take and you're wrong, you're going to blame them. At least when you go with your guys, you stand on your own decision, you stand on your own make, and I think there's valuable merit in that.
To that point, Tyler, can I tell you how much stuff I got last year, and I just had to like eat it the entire process for me having Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams? I can't tell you how many people hit me up and said clown take, clickbait, all this crap. Funny, I don't see him in my mentions today. Weird.
Because I deleted all my tweets about that before the show.
I was with you as a Razorbacks fan. I still remember freaking Jaden Daniels coming in the second half of that LSU game and taking them over 3 touchdowns to win the game.
Nah, like, Tyler, he's too skinny. His arm was weak. He can't slide, remember?
He's a gamer. He's a gamer. He's a baller, and he can throw the football. I'm with you. I loved it. You mentioned that to me, and I was like, it's dumb. And we sit here, and you've been right on several. I mean, you called Puka, you talked about Jaden, you talked about Stroud, and I mean, there's other people that have too. Like I know you mentioned,
I'm not alone.
Too,
no,
but like it is shows just the statement of fact. Like as we continue to go through this draft. I hope you get the information that you need to go with your guys if you don't already have those decided. You've got some big minds in this room, and eat it up. So, Joe, back on the clock.
Yeah, I hate it because I pulled up my notes on Trey Harris and then Higgins, and then I should have known better that was going to go back to back. I'm actually at a point at the draft where I would be trying to trade out of this pick. I don't really care for anybody that's in this zone. They don't really do anything for me. So it's like I would be looking to either trade for like Tyler, you're saying like it's hard to recoup value. Like I would take like an older running back for a second or try to get like a first for next year if somebody feels really passionate about Luther Burden. I'm not a Scatabo guy. There's no one really here that excites me. So I'm just going to go best ranked player and take Burden, but I don't feel great about it at all.
Yeah, I will say this, this for me also, I think that we've hit the tier where it's like, it is like a very distant, like we've gotten through all the people that we think have immediate impact ish in a way. I obviously we have some different opinions on some sleepers or some people that other people may not be looking at, but we've kind of hit that like line, I guess, that's in the draft. And so there is this, I think this is the spot where you are trying to trade out, but for the exercise, take value. This is tight end premium. I have had my eyes on Mason Taylor since LSU. I mean, like watching him play last year, had some really great moments. I want Mason Taylor right here.
Didn't he get a terrible number assignment today, though? Kind of like just killed it for me.
I don't care about the number assignment.
good.
I care about I care about a
Really?
6'5", 255 guy running a 4.6 40 with the ability to go up and get the football.
Joe, please tell me you're not going to like not draft a wide receiver if he picks 0 or he picks 1 or something.
I mean, Matthew Golden's career is already over being 22.
Oh, 22. I did. I saw the 22. To me, that's just swag, dude. Like, let you do you, man. Like, I'm down
it's
for
definitely
it.
swag for sure.
I'm so down for it.
I wore 46 when I was a tight end, when I was 17.
Love it.
So
I love it.
It's a great, spectacular number, and I love that pick.
I want to see a wide receiver pick like 78 or something like that. Like, give him an O-line number. I'm here for that.
I didn't hate Matthew Golden taking 22. The sentiment behind it was also great. So a lot of people, DBro was talking about standing on business. Tyler was talking about staying true to your authentic self. You got to draft and bet like you're right, but have the humility to know that you could potentially be wrong. And I know this is an incredible gamble, but it's one that could really, really pay off. I want Jalen Milroe here at the quarterback position. And I think Jalen Milroe is not going to have an impact next year. He will have an immediate impact this year because Sam Darnold will be seeing ghosts. When Christian Darrisaw went down last year, their all-pro left tackle in Minnesota, we saw the Sam Darnold. We saw so many glimpses of that Sam Darnold from the New York Jets who saw ghosts. And we're going to see Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again this year because that offensive line did not improve a lot. Obviously, Gray Zabel is a great pick, but that offensive line did not improve. They still got Cross, who can never stay healthy, and even when he is healthy, he's a C+ player at best. So Jalen Milroe's ability to get loose and get lost and be just an athletic specimen and freak, we are going to see him have an immediate impact at some point this season. My bet over under is 6.5 weeks.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
I was surprised they didn't double tap offensive line in that draft. Like, I'm not saying like your top 2 picks, but because they got really good value on even Worry. But I was kind of surprised they didn't go back to the well and draft another offensive lineman. I'll say that for Seattle.
What was that kid from Minnesota, the one that ended up in Miami? Was he still available? The tackle?
Oh,
I can't pronounce his last name.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was close.
He should have gone there. Even if they would have traded up, they should have gone there.
It's the Seahawks thing. The Seahawks don't protect their guys. Like, you want to know why Jalen Milroe is going to have impact year 1? It's because Sam Darnold is going to try to run the football like he does, and he's going to be banged up like he's been so many seasons, and we're going to get Milroe.
It's because Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator, and he's been quoted saying they want to run the heck out of the rock. That's why I'm so bullish on Kenneth Walker this year. Plus, he's in a contract year, and if you guys follow the historical data, running backs in contract years break fantasy football.
I traded this is crazy. I traded Chase Brown, Jerry Jeudy, J.K. Dobbins, and I think a 3rd round pick, and walked away with Kenneth Walker and Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh!
Is there any openings in that
Somebody
league?
call the police, dude. There has been we got to report something. That's wow.
Did you like smack him with your belt before?
No, he wanted Chase Brown, and he liked Jerry Jeudy as wide receiver 12 in his first season out of Denver. And I just threw in a couple little extras, and
we all got life choices to make. That's not one.
Did you post like a fake article on the site, like hyping up?
No, but that's a good one. I'm gonna try that next time. No, I'm just kidding. All right, DBro, you're up.
I'm gonna go with my guy here. I'm gonna get Jack Besh. Got 2nd round capital, clear path to, a lot of targets. I think he's gonna sniff close to probably about 100 plus targets in year 1. You're looking at a consolidated passing attack between Bowers, Jacoby Myers, and Jack Besh, with Dante Thornton probably taking off the top here. But like, Besh is a guy, I think his best football is still firmly in front of him. From a player that, if everybody's not fully aware of, like, I know that his story and his backstory has been discussed a lot, but more of that has been his family and stuff like that. But like for a player that started at LSU, started at tight end, transfers, becomes a slot wide receiver, and then a perimeter wide receiver in his final year at college, I mean, he just continually gets better. And when I was down there at Senior Bowl, he was one of the few guys that, I mean, nobody could cover him. He got open on the perimeter. He got loose deep. He was able to win versus man press. I mean, the guy definitely has a plan, and I think he's going to continue to get better and better. So for a player that got the draft capital and has a clear lane to a very prominent role, as well as being a culture set, like that guy, even if he is not like the first, second read on a play, he is blocking his butt off every single play. I love Jack Besh.
Yeah. Hey, DBro, while you're on that, IMJ from Twitch popped in. He said, hey, y'all, quick trade question. And I'm throwing you mentioned Jaden and Stroud. So he's offering Jaden Daniels the 2025 2.10 and 3.10. And he wants CJ Stroud picks 2, 4, 2, 8, 3, 4, as well as my 26th first and second. I think that's too much, but go ahead. What's your thoughts?
So is he's getting the Stroud side, or no, he's getting the Jaden Daniels. No, I'm not doing that. If you're getting the Stroud side, that's a haul, man. I'm not doing that. No.
I agree. Thanks.
Like I don't blame somebody for trying to get that for Jaden, but I'm not paying that. No way.
What's the pot, and are you in win now mode? Because that's the only way I'd make that move.
Yeah, that's just a lot. I mean,
yeah,
that's a lot, man. No way.
Yeah, it's too much.
All right, Joe.
Nope.
All right, so I think this one's going to shake a little bit. I like this guy a lot in the pre-draft process. I know he's a little bit older, but I like the place that he's going to. One, because I don't think Derek Carr is going to survive the season. We also know that the new head coach likes to have a lot of things happening in New Orleans. So for me, I'm going to go Tyler Shuck. He's a bit older. He's a 25-year-old quarterback prospect that doesn't necessarily seem great for him, but Derek Carr has the shoulder injury. Kellen Moore's offenses have never run less than 60 plays a game on average, which is really high in the NFL. So just having that opportunity, I'm really bullish on the Saints offense in general this year, just because of sheer opportunity. So if he can find himself in there, his best strength was his short passing attack. So I think it's a decent fit for him, and who knows what can happen. So in a Superflex league, rather than take a shot at somebody who may be a backup running back, why not throw the dart and see what I can do with a quarterback that had second round capital?
I don't hate it.
And now we are where I hate to be. This spot is really tough for me. I am not a big Cam Scatabo guy. And so like I haven't taken a lot of him. Not that he's necessarily a bad pick. And then, so I'm also thinking I took Quinshon Judkins. So do I go ahead and take Dylan Sampson and make sure that I lock in that Cleveland backfield here? And then, you know, it's so
Tyler's going through it right now, man.
I'm going through it.
Are you going to pick Tesla right now?
You can hear he is going through it right now.
You know, just because I can't do it. I think I'm one pick away on that, but since you said it, I'm gonna go ahead and make my mark here. I will take Tesla right here.
Wow.
I gotta go and type him in because
you gotta type in because he's way down there, baby. And really, I'm probably taking him early mid third. I like Isaac Tesla, and it's not because I'm a Razorback fan. He had was at the 11th highest RAS score in the history of the position at wide receiver. His range of catch, he was the only wide receiver entering the class that had a 0% drop ratio. He has an incredible catch radius, and I think that offense could use they could use a good, strong outside receiver. He's not afraid of contact either. Like we saw so many times him catch the ball, go into contact. I think he's one. And then, you know, you mentioned something earlier, DBro. You said draft capital.
Yep.
When a team trades up almost a full round on somebody that everybody else in the world is going, who's that guy?
They
Right?
gave up
Like
3/3 for him.
3/3 trading up a full 32 picks to take him. They're not doing that so that he can ride the pine. They're not doing that because they think he's a long shot developmental process. They see instant impact. And so I'm taking him. I haven't left a single rookie draft with him. I didn't have to pay up this much, but I'm just letting you know, make sure you put this person on your radar. If you get them in the third, take them. If you have to take them in the second, and I know people have done, I would.
My only knocks on Tesla are things that can be fixed immediately. One, he drifts into zone defenses. Two, he doesn't really get utilized properly because he's a 6'4" slot who's crack blocking a heck of a lot. You look at
dumb.
Exactly. You look at the Detroit
dumb.
Lions, you think about grit, you think about what they want to do there special teams wise. I love the Tesla pick for Detroit, and I love the Tesla pick for you, but even more so for me because Jaden Blue is available and I want him on my team behind Tyler Booker and that improved offensive line and a healthy Dak. So yeah, give me Jaden Blue. I'm going to let you have your Tootin. I know you want your Tootin because you don't believe in scam scatterboo. So I'll take Jaden Blue and keep it moving.
Yeah, I'll take Bashal too, and I'll make this easy, boys. There's a few different guys. Like there's a lot of guys left on the board that I like here, but I will take Bashal Tootin here. I think that he is the most explosive back in that Jacksonville backfield, and I was a fan of Tank coming out as a prospect. Now it didn't hit in year one. I will not be surprised still if they don't move Travis Etienne whenever camp hits, once injuries, anything like that happens. Like I think there's a very big real possibility that Travis Etienne is not on that roster before week one happens. Even if he is, you have a new coaching staff, new regime. They went out and got their guy in the 4th round. They don't have any allegiances to any of these running backs. I mean, Tootin's a home run threat, man. I think he's underrated in the passing game. The biggest thing for him is he's just got to clean up the fumbles, which fumbles are like drops, like concentration drops. I'm not that worried about it. Like you can correct that. Good coaching. I mean, really just drilling it into somebody's head, like hold on to the dang football.
Cool.
Love it.
All right. Well, I guess I'm still going to avoid the whole Cam Scatabo thing. So I'm actually going to jump down a couple running backs. I'm surprised that he went as late in the draft as he did. I'm not going to repeat my spiel about how New Orleans, I'm expecting him to run a lot of plays, but I'm really interested in Devin Neal, especially in the 3rd round. So for me, he's somebody that's like very shifty and has a lot of agility as a runner. He has great vision, and I think that he's a natural pass catcher. Obviously, Kamara is still going to be the alpha of that offense, but I do think that he can carve out a role. I don't really see a lot of potential in the other running backs in New Orleans, so I'll take a swing at him.
I love Devin Neal pre-draft. I love his skill set, man. The only thing that kind of lowered me on him was just Kamara's got good money on that contract for the next 2 years. The backfield's kind of messy, but like, I mean, to your point, you know, cream rises to the top, man. Devin Neal's got the talent.
So I'm going to do this pick because he's there and not because I like him, but because my brother's a Giants fan and he would absolutely hate me if I didn't take this pick. So I'm going to take Scatterbo on the shot that somehow he makes his way into a significant role. And really it's just, this one's for my brother, Josh. I appreciate you. I know you were so excited when Scatterbo got drafted to the Giants. So there you go. One for the homies.
Tyler, I thought you were going to I thought this was just a really long soliloquy for Thomas Fedone, but you know, maybe I was kind of surprised in Scatterbo, but you know, it's all good.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh gosh. I don't love it. But you know, like I will say this about Scatterbo.
I like it. I think Scatterbo is going to be the workhorse in that backfield in short order, man. Like Tyrone Tracy, it's the pass pro and it's the fumbles. I think Scatterbo's got a clear. When they draft, you don't draft a volume back like that without like, okay, there's a pretty good chance we're going to lean on this dude. But that's just my take on him.
So
go ahead.
Here's the thing with Scatterbo. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, what do you think his ceiling is? Because the comp that I've heard a lot is like David Montgomery. I think that's like too high, in my opinion. I think that if he carves out a David Montgomery career, that would be awesome. To me, like best case scenario for him is like Dameon Pierce. He has that good rookie season, and then they immediately replace him.
I think what you're looking at is the real answer to that question is what happens with the coaching staff. If they keep Dayball and he crushes in his rookie season, then that's what gives him the path to remain their workhorse guy. If they fire the coach and they fire the GM, then we're talking about a day 3 running back. And if he was in a committee for part of that year, or he was only the starter for the back end of the year, you're looking at like this could be the next Michael Carter, Tyler Algier, pick your flavor of day 3 running back that eventually gets Tyrone Tracy. Like this could be your new flavor of like he just gets replaced. So to me, the answer to that question is not just what Cam Scatterbo does in his rookie season. To me, the better way to answer that is do you think that Brian Daboll keeps his job?
You know, and that is a big question because you got a lot riding, including a rookie quarterback on that question. But you know, Cam Scatterbo, weirdly enough, kind of the comparison that it's like that. It's like a weird mixture. He's a gamer, right? Like, and you gotta sometimes like talent, like or 40 speed or things like, or those things are are compensated by somebody that plays the game. And so like for me, Scatterbo is this weird mixture of Peyton Hillis meets Danny Woodhead. I know that's like a really weird example, but he runs like he has power but he's decent receiver. I don't know.
Did you just use like the only 2 relevant white running backs for that comparison?
No, I didn't.
I mean, Mike Allstott would be in the conversation.
No, he is not a Mike Allstott. Allstott is a truck.
Yes.
Peyton Hillis was a truck later in his career, not so much earlier. But
Scatterbo is kind of like a souped up minivan.
That's a good take. I like that.
I love minivans too.
I don't know.
All right, Disco, you're up. I digress.
I was kind of considering Cam Scatterbo during the entire process, just simply because of what he put on tape this last year. And then I heard something from Pat Fitzmaurice on the Fantasy Pros and DBro on the Fantasy Pros. They said he was quirky and not the best teammate and may lack some work ethic. Translation, that's the only reason why I'm avoiding him. And that's the only reason why I'm buying where people are dipping on Tyrone Tracy. But let's keep that between us, okay? Here, guys, it's another scenario where I'm just going to go and get my guy. I'm going to go get my guy. If we're talking about, somebody who has pretty much every record out of all the wide receivers who have ever gone to the University of Miami, and if you look at the lineage and the legacy at the University of Miami, I think it translates. And I know he went undrafted, and I know beat reporters exactly. Xavier Restrepo, don't even have to talk about it. Every record. You look at Michael Irvin. You look at Johnson. You look at all of them. Santana Moss. All those wide receivers. He's the best out of all of them. So it's a no-brainer. I think he's going to be spectacular year 1, and he's got his college quarterback. So, yeah.
I like the pick, and the college quarterback's the key to me. Go, Joe, or DBro.
I'm just gonna stay. This is a combination. There's a lot of ways I could go right here. There's a long tier of guys that I like here. I'm gonna get one of my guys. I know it looks like it's crowded right now, but talent rises at the top. Christian Kirk can't stay healthy. Jalen Knoll, come on down, man. Like, he was a top 5 wide receiver for me in this class throughout the entire this process. I am over the moon with his talent, and I was surprised he dipped to the 3rd round. But I mean, guys, like, we've seen the NFL screw up draft capital for guys that they deem, whether it's slot only, things like that, year after year after year. Nola's got the speed, the route running ability. He can play outside. He could beat man press. When I was down there in Senior Bowl, nobody could guard this dude. He got open every single rep, and to go crush the combine. I really, if Kirk can't stay healthy this year, you're looking at 2025 Jalen Knoll is 2023 Tank Dell.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go to the Pats in the round 2. I was surprised that
The Pats are going to really regret the fact that they this is Ladd McConkey and Jalen Polk all over again. The Pats are going to regret the fact that they drafted Kyle Williams over Jalen Noel.
Yeah, and I like Kyle Williams too.
I'm not a huge fan. I get it, but I'm not.
All right. So in the spirit of tight end premium, I'm going to take this high upside pick with Elijah Arroyo. Biggest issue with him is his ability to stay healthy, but Noah Fant, he was the first round pick a few years back. He hasn't really done anything. 1 year left on the deal. Seattle has like a new regime of pass catching out there. So I think for me, 3rd round, I think it's a great fit for him to kind of throw that dart. I know there's a lot of other people in that tier of tight ends, but I think that he has the most upside as a pass catcher.
That's who I was deciding between, Joe, just to put it out there. Like it was Null or Arroyo for me. So that was a good pick. Very good pick.
So I like that this landed on round 6, where I took Judkins earlier. I'm going to take Dylan Sampson right here. And I'm gonna handcuff for the next 4 years the Browns running game. So I feel pretty
good. Full Browns. Are you taking Shadur Sanders next round too?
He doesn't have to.
I'll pass on that one.
Kind of feels weird that you didn't get the full.
No, this is different. It's running backs. It's running backs.
I mean, but you could have cornered the market on Cleveland Browns, bro. Like you could have gone Judkins.
Bro, who wants to corner the market on Cleveland Browns?
My wife,
I'm
big Browns fan.
I'm just saying, man.
Cleveland Browns are the worst. You know, I watched Draft Day back when it first came out, and I didn't have a favorite NFL team, and I was like, you know what? I can be a Browns fan. I can do this. And then they go and they draft Baker. Baker takes them to the playoffs. I'm like, yeah, I can be a Browns fan. And then they dish Baker to bring in Deshaun Watson on unsurmounted guaranteed money. And I was like, this is why people cannot be Browns fans. Hence the end of my Browns fandom. And with Nick Chubb leaving, the last piece of the Browns puzzle that I really enjoyed is now gone. I'm out.
Oh, you sound like a normal Browns fan now. Like even Browns fans don't want to be Browns fans.
Exactly.
I was expecting the brown paper bag to come out at any given moment.
No, excuse you, sir. That's for the Aints. That's only for my former fan base. Okay.
My bad.
I feel like the Pirates should also be allowed to wear brown paper bags because they are the baseball Browns.
Fair.
I don't know baseball.
Joe, this is not a baseball show.
Oh, right. My bad.
Keep it moving.
It doesn't happen a lot.
All right. So I'm really invested. I don't know if you guys follow my tweets. And if you don't, it might be a good thing for your sanity because I'll drive you nuts. I'm very invested in the Patrick Mahomes revenge tour. And I'm not going with Royals here. So do not preemptively pick that guy. I'm once again going.
You are the search bar guy.
You are not going to take my dude.
You're picking is not on the screen.
I'm going to get my guys, and I'm going to continue to get my guys. There's a clear path that Brashard Smith can and will be the running back one.
Stop, Disco! Stop!
That's we're doing a show together on Wednesday. You screwed up.
Now you're chopping ankles. Okay, you're chopping ankles here. We know. I agree. I love the pick. I was hoping he would make it at least one more slew through the group.
Dude, that was my 404 pick. Oh.
That is a fantasy football. If you don't take your guys,
get your guy.
Yeah, they're gone. Hence DBro.
Man. All right. Well, see what happened was okay. So this is a long tier. I think that where we're at and I think all of these guys are going too late, to be honest. I think Arroyo goes too late in drafts. He got a little more respect here, but I think Arroyo should be going in the back end of the second round. I also think that there are two other tight ends that are on the board. It's the exact same setup as Elijah Arroyo has, where there is an incumbent starter that is on the last year of their contract, and they are gone after this year. They tested good enough. They got good landing spots. I'm going to take Terrence Ferguson here. Dude, I just think if you're in any kind of tight end premium formats, he needs to be somebody. The trifecta of tight ends that are going in the third round right now, Arroyo, Ferguson, and one other guy, are the reason why you do not have to pay up for Loveland and Warren in rookie drafts right now who have clouded outlooks for year one. They're going to probably be at the top of every 2026 buy low article that is written in Dynasty next year. And so for me, we should take the discount on really talented tight ends, and Arroyo and Ferguson are starting that tier. So yeah, it's wheels up, man. Like Higbee's gone after this year.
Tyler Higbee's like the least impressive tight end ever. Like somehow people convince themselves every year that he's gonna be a top 10.
I remember. Do you remember way back whenever people were like, he had that 5-game stretch, and then we went into the next year, and everybody's like, Tyler Higbee, he's the new Travis Kelce. And I remember fighting that the entire time, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that.
I really just hope that Dan clips this specific part just for the voice acting that I just witnessed.
We are definitely going to be clipping these parts. By the way, if you're still tuned in, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the sub. Appreciate you. We are in the tail end of the third round with 1 round to go. This is where you get the meat. This is where you get the players that everybody else is sleeping on, the late round grabs where you can really win. We've seen it year after year after year. Somebody come out of this round 3 through 4. And so already some guys have been highlighted that are going to fall in your draft that you can grab. And so hopefully you're paying on. I love the Brashard Smith pick, man. That's sweet.
He's going to be Jarrett McKinnon in that offense sooner
100%.
rather than later.
100%.
Like he's going to have Kareem Hunt is the direct backup to Isaiah Pacheco this year. I think we could see out the gate Pacheco and Brashard Smith leading the way. I love that pick so much.
I'm still not ruling out like Elijah Mitchell. If he can put it together and finally be healthy, he might do something. But that's a best ball conversation, not a rookie conversation. It's going to be one or the other. You
just look at that backfield. Who is the guy that's different as far as skill set from every other player that they have? And it's Brashard Smith.
I would say it's Elijah Mitchell. He's got that game-breaking speed. World class speed.
Very similar to Isaiah Pacheco in that. But I'll say that though.
Stylistically, yes, but speed-wise, no, not even close.
All right, so I'm going to jump into my pick real quick. So this was a former no-star recruit, pretty much had nobody looking at him when he was going into college, becomes the 3rd most prolific rusher in Kansas State history. I really like just his all-around game. DJ Giddens for me. Not looking at an immediate role sitting behind Jonathan Taylor, but I don't really care for any of the backup options that are there. Jonathan Taylor historically has been a pretty healthy running back. We're starting to see maybe a little bit of signs of him breaking down a little bit. So I'll take the risk there. I think he can be good in a pass catching situation. So in a PPR format, I think he's worth the risk.
I love Giddens, man. I hated the fact that he fell so far in the draft.
I was surprised that he did, honestly. I thought he would have won a little higher.
Dude, I think it came down to just the depth of this running back class, and teams were playing chicken. If you'd have taken like Devin Neal, DJ Giddens, probably Brashard Smith, all of these guys, if you'd have thrown them into last year's class, we're talking about round 3, round 4 picks.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
All right, here. This is difficult for me because I really want to grab Jalen Royals here, but since it is Superflex, I'm going to take a stab here, and I'm going to go
another Cleveland Brown?
No.
You can double up on Cleveland Browns, actually.
I'm going to
give you a special exception. You can get both the quarterbacks.
I'm going to take Will Howard.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to take Will Howard. There's some things. Will Howard, to me, like, he got a really bad rap because of his combine performance. And the fact he played on Ohio State. He had elite receivers. He didn't have to do it. What we know about Will Howard is Will Howard's sharp. Like, he is between the ears, process and read. Like, Will Howard can do it. Will Howard falls into that Steelers prototypical quarterback, that Terry Bradshaw, Ben Roethlisberger, 6'4", 235. And I just think that people are yes, that team was a beast, but still, national championship quarterback. Anthony Richardson didn't win a national championship. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to just pin on that, but what I'm saying is, in a super flex league, round 3 or 4, for a quarterback that I feel like if Aaron Rodgers gets finicky and decides he doesn't sign, could have a shot at starting. I hope he doesn't start year one because their team is straight garbage. But they could see enough from him for him to get a shot at year two. If they don't, of course, that's pending they don't draft anybody, which I don't think. I don't know. It's one of those my guys things. I've got a lot of optimism for Will Howard. I think he's being slept on. I think the offense leans itself towards possibility for him. And I think he wants to work. I mean, I saw a tweet that came out and it was like, Will Howard immediately was calling the quarterback coach to get the playbook. Like he's going to work. I think he's got something to prove. And anytime you have somebody like that can, and his completion percentage increased year over year. I mean, from going 72% last year, like I just think there's a lot of possibility there. And so in a super flex, I'm going to quote, risk it for the biscuit.
Well, you don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers taking his spot anytime soon because he's going to be taking JJ McCarthy's spot. I apologize.
Get out of here.
It was low hanging fruit.
I set you up. It was like a nice volleyball set.
I just need to spike that. I'm sorry.
Boo this man.
He laid it up. I had to alley-oop it. All right. Once again, going with my guys who I believe are going to have immediate impact because I don't really care about investing in 2-3 years. Immediate impact. If you're a coach who is a Super Bowl winning coach comes out and compares you to somebody who broke fantasy football in the past, I don't know if it's a good comparison or the bad side of him, but if you get Michael Thomas comparisons, give me Pat Bryant from the Denver Broncos.
Slant God.
I like it.
Who did you say?
Pat Bryant from the Denver Broncos, wide receiver.
Yep.
I didn't expect him to go this
Good pick. Very good pick.
I like it.
Well, I'm just gonna stay consistent. I really love Bashal Tootin. I'm gonna take the arbitrage Bashal Tootin, the guy that I feel like we collectively, a lot of people are looking at this Rams backfield wrong. I'm gonna take Jarquez Hunter here. You look at stacking these guys up. Tell me, in describing a backfield, you have a veteran that is on his rookie, that is on the last year of his contract. So he's probably gone. You have a former third-round pick that did nothing. And honestly, I thought he was a very overrated prospect with a lot of question marks because of injuries and his tackle-breaking metrics dropping in every single collegiate season. And they go and add to this backfield. This is exactly the same situation that Bashal Tootin is walking into, except he doesn't have all the puff and praise. He still tested decently, ran fast, and he has put up just awesome numbers over the last 3 years at Auburn. I think there is a world that we are living in. We flip over the cards. It's week 5, week 6, where Kyron and Jarquez Hunter are running neck and neck. This is more of a split backfield, and everybody that thinks that, okay, Jarquez Hunter is not going to make noise, Kyron keeps the job. Okay, what'd y'all all say about Rachaad White last year? Inefficient running backs keep the job until there is a dude that is put in that depth chart that is good enough to take work from them. Jarquez Hunter is good enough to do that to Kyron Williams.
Let's go.
All right, so we're on the last round here. I'm going to take a guy that probably you can get a little bit later than this, but I'm going to go with Torrey Horton. He was at Colorado State. Pretty big dude, 6'3". He ran like a 4.4 at the combine with a busted up knee. So to me, he's walking into a Seattle Seahawks room where I think that he could be a wide receiver 3 in his first season. Kind of like how I'm feeling about the Arroyo pick. You have JSN, but what else behind him? So with the change of the guard, I think that injury kind of plummeted his stock a bit. So to me, it's a dart throw that I'll be worth taking.
So Tyler's got all the Browns players, and Joe is getting all the Seahawks. So Damian Martinez is your next pick?
No, not for me. Or are you talking about for Joe?
For
Can't
Joe.
spoil it. Maybe.
No.
I did like Martinez a lot. I was astonished.
I did too. I'm just giving you crap.
Oh,
I love it. I appreciate it. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to take – and I hate it that they just started lighting it up in the chat. Rusty said, Taj better get drafted.
Oh, he was going to get drafted, Rusty, no doubt. Taj
I'm going to I'm going to take Taj Brooks right here.
Yeah, if you weren't going to do it, I was going to do it. So
yeah, the Chase Brown got a ton of work last year, and he can't do it on its own. And Taj Brooks is the complement they need. I think he could be a touchdown machine. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for him. At Texas Tech, I like him, and I think that there's a pathway in this new NFL where we get, and I say new, there's been a huge trend shift to these dual running back roles, the Sonic and Knuckles type deal, right? That everybody's pushing that narrative, and I think there's a world really where you get two running backs in an offense that can help you be significantly successful. And this offense is set up for that very quickly.
Yeah, I love Taj, man. He's a bowling ball, handle volume. He's underrated in the passing game. There's multiple spots where Texas Tech sent him up the seam, and this dude has over-the-shoulder one-hand catches on his film, man. So another player that, like, if he'd have come out in last year's class, he would have been around 4 pick. I fully believe that. He's a better player than any of those guys like Braylon Allen. Taj Brooks would lap him, man. So definitely, that's another reason why I'm lower on Chase Brown. I think Taj Brooks can make some noise year one.
Let's go. All right, Disco.
Okay. So I'm not a big dynasty guy, right? Let's just put it out there. My thing is best ball. I do best ball, and I've been very blessed to have met some really, really, really successful people in the best ball world, predominantly on drafters. I had Updog on my show earlier today, and he's finished second in the main tournament twice now. And he said he can't stop drafting Jalen Royals. And the reason why is, one, you don't draft players who are coming off of an injury or injured, Rashee Rice, hello. And you don't draft players who are potentially going to get suspended, Rashee Rice, hello. So he's a double whammy. Xavier Worthy's going to need some help. And Jalen Royals is in a perfect scenario for the Patrick Mahomes revenge tour. And he said Updog said he's very invested in Jalen Royals. I don't know much on him, but I mean, yeah, give me Royals. He seems best available.
I liked Royals as a prospect. Man, if he would have played the entire year and not come down with the injury, I think he would have gone higher in the draft. And the other thing was, like, throughout the entirety of the draft process, he was also dinged up. I got to talk to him at Senior Bowl and the Combine. So even when he tested and even when he was at Senior Bowl, he wasn't fully healthy. It wasn't the foot, but just a soft tissue injury. So I think there's multiple paths to, like, where Jalen Royals should have gone higher in the draft, and coming from a small school and stuff like that didn't help him either. If he'd have gone to like an SEC school, he would have been a day 2 pick.
So he's hurt. Noted.
I mean, not that he's hurt right now, but he had soft tissue stuff throughout the entirety of the process. So,
all right,
who's your player comp for him? Just quickly,
dude. I had the hardest time comping him, man. Like, the closest I got to him was Quincy Enunwa, like, before he got hurt. But Royals' game is so hard to comp because he is a ridiculous rack threat. Like, you put the ball in his hands and he just goes. He's physical. He's a better route runner than people give him credit. Like, I couldn't find a good comp for him, to be honest.
He's a thicker guy. He's got some oomph to him, is what you're saying.
Dude, he was one of the few guys in Mobile that actually knew how to beat man press off the line and wasn't doing all this TikTok route garbage that, like, people love in one-on-ones that, like, when you put it in a real game, you're like, okay, are you going to stay on schedule or are you still dancing at the line? Like, are you going to get into your route? Like, what are we doing here?
Okay. Thank you for letting me pick your brain.
Nice. I love Royals, man. I'm going to go with the last guy of that triumvirate of tight ends. David Njoku is a free agent after this season, so the pathway is clear. The draft capital is there. I was worried that Harold Fannin was going to get Jaheim Bell because of the testing and a team saying we don't know what to do with this guy, but the Cleveland Browns said, nah, third round capital. Our tight end is out the door after this year. Let's go.
I like it.
Very good. All right, I'll try to keep this quick. My next pick going to be Woody Marks out of USC. think he was a big part of that offense last year. Good vision, acceleration. He's not like a high-end speed guy, but he gets to his top gear pretty quick. So his ability to make people miss, good size. He's 5'10", 210. I think he can kind of fit in Houston, and Joe Mixon up there in age. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. He had the ankle issues last year. I think he comes in with a clean slate. But, yeah, I think that Woody could have himself a good time, and who doesn't love the name Woody Marks? So let's just do it.
When we get deep,
Tyler's out of Razorbacks to draft and out of Cleveland.
Whoa.
Well, there's a few
Things
Cleveland
that I don't have to
drafts.
worry about
is my brain on the players that I would like to take here. And what's crazy is like there's players here that in the drafts that I've done have been gone by now. Like you got Kyle Williams is still available.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big Kyle Williams person. Alec is still available.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many people there that are still available that are like on the fringe of like they have potential and capital, but like you don't Kyle Williams went a lot earlier in the draft than I thought he was going to go. And they wanted, and so like at this point in your draft, you're in the 4th round, you're like, and then the wide receiver room is not like just filled with studs, so you're like, is there a possibility there? And so it's like, there's some of those times where you just want to like throw darts. I have drafted 0 Kyle Williams. I've drafted 0 Alec. At this point, and I want you guys' perspective, at this point in halfway through the 4th round in a 12-team rookie draft, are you still not looking to take like one of those guys?
I think it's Shador time for you, buddy.
I think it's either you take the shot on Shador, or I would go Kyle Williams and you bet on the draft capital. I'm not a Kyle Williams guy, and I would take Kyle Williams on the board right now based off of just hedging that maybe I'm wrong, and I would lean on the draft capital. So
that's how I feel. That's sometimes how you have to look at it. Like this late.
I'm not taking Kyle. So like you could take Shador and count on Kyle coming back to you. You get best of both worlds. You get best available with your last 2 picks.
I would take Kyle if it gets to me. I'm just saying, like, just talking
I personally, I'm going to take Kyle here. I will take 0 shares of Shador. It's not a personal thing. I'm just not a believer. I'm out.
I tried the Jedi mind tricks and it didn't work. My bad.
I just texted Dion. He's mad at you.
It's okay. I'll take it.
Dang, he's sliding in another draft. All right, so my next pick is more of like a sorry, dark joke, bad joke. It's more of a handcuff situation, but the archetype he fits the mold of the scheme that he's in, and he is the direct replacement archetype of the player that he would be the handcuff of, and that's Marcus Yarns, right? So you talk about Alvin Kamara as a receiving back. He gets that PPR volume. I think Neil has a role solidified for him, no matter what the scenario is, with a healthy Kamara or without an Alvin Kamara. But if you're talking about the archetype, the passing volume, the receiving volume, just being an all-around running back, Marcus Yarns fits that mold, and it is 100% injury dependent. But Kamara's getting up there in age, and I'm definitely going to take shots on Yarns at this point of the draft.
I hate the fact that he went UDFA. Like this deep running back class hurts so many guys like Marcus Yarns, who I had a 4th round grade on him. So like, anyway, it's just one of those things where you hate to see talented players fall and you hope the talents rise to the top. And in Yarns, it could definitely happen. I could take one of a few different guys. Like, you could talk me into Alec. You could talk me into Shador Sanders. I don't take the shots on quarterbacks later in drafts that much, because I'm a big believer that like draft capital buys you opportunities and stuff like that with quarterbacks. So really quarterbacks that go outside of the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft, I kind of fade them. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm going to take a dart throw on a guy that I love pre-draft process. He landed in a spot, didn't get the draft capital I wanted, but landed in a spot where he is one injury away from being the lead back in that backfield, possibly. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, come on down. If this guy wouldn't have missed because of eligibility issues, 2024 season, which the NCAA screwed him over, if that wouldn't have been the case, he would have gone much higher in the NFL draft. His tackle breaking metrics, like in 2023, he was top 20 in so many different categories that I care about, and his film backs it up too.
Yeah, he's definitely a really good player. I'm interested to see, like, especially with Robinson, he gets banged up quite a bit. He could slide in there pretty quickly, but it'll be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you go into camp and stuff like that, Eckler and Nichols, I mean, like Jerry McNichols, like all those guys will be above him. But the other part about it, like McNichols and Eckler are going to play pretty much the same role. So you're looking at the direct handcuff to Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be Merritt. And I mean, Chris Rodriguez didn't even play a role last year in that backfield. So, I don't think that he's magically going to, jump out of the woodwork this year.
All right. I'll keep this one short and sweet. I'm going to take the slide on Alec Yomenor for no other reason that Tennessee doesn't have a ton outside of Calvin Ridley. Just see what happens. Arthur, I feel 4th round is very fair. I probably wouldn't go after him in drafts just because I don't have a lot of faith in the Tennessee offense. But at the price point, it just seems like an easy choice to make.
Yep.
I love the late rounds, but I also hate them. Typically here I'm trading out and often grabbing maybe a 3rd next season. My 4th round picks tend to be like, hey, let me trade you for a 3rd next season.
I'll trade him for Fab. I don't think anything after a 2nd round is like worth my energy. So like I usually just try to get rid of as many.
But see, here's the thing: like a 3rd turns into 2 thirds for a 2nd.
Gobble them all up, man. I want all these late darts.
I hate it.
And I don't mind, like, I like taking the late darts, but like there are people that go, like, they get really excited about deep prospects. And so they're like, yeah, I'll give you an early 3rd for this pick here at the end of the 4th. And next year, like that early 3rd is going to be, one of these guys here in the 3rd round or one of these guys in the 2nd round that falls a little bit, and, here I'm going to honorable mention somebody, but, well, let me ask you this. DBro Disco, I think this is an important question. I think everybody is wondering. Okay. Mm-hmm. There was a wide receiver that had a 1st round grade. Okay. That got into a little trouble before the NFL draft and ended up being undrafted free agent. Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you, are you completely out on Isaiah Bond? Like, is there no realm where he comes in and to be
the kind of trouble? It's the kind of trouble he got himself.
I'm out. The NFL told us very loudly they want no part of whatever's going on with him. I want no part of Isaiah Bond. I will not draft him in any league. I don't care.
When you go into the combine and say you're going to break the record, and then you weren't even the fastest guy on your team.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all the other off-field stuff. That's why he didn't.
I agree. I'm not drafting any off-field issues. I'm not an off-field issues guy.
Because it's not just that he didn't get drafted. He didn't even get a UDFA contract from a team. So, like, the NFL is telling, like, he is not going to be in the league.
He's not going to the CFL either. Like, he's not coming up here. So, he's just done.
Like, I wouldn't. To me, anybody that drafts him is burning a pick. That's what I would say.
We can see if he wants to be on the show next week.
No, I agree. I'm out. I just had to ask the question because I've seen him go at the end of the 4th round. Yeah. And, I think that's something that people are wondering is like this guy who was touted, and we've seen people with trouble issues, like still, have their things. Like everybody's still big on like Rashee Rice and like, these different players. And like, you can't not have the conversation, right? Like you can't.
There's a fine line. And I think he crossed that fine line with what he is accused of.
Agreed. And I appreciate the trend or the not really getting in too deep there. For me here, it's Superflex. It's the 4th round. I'm going to take a shot and I'm going to take Dylan Gabriel.
He did go with a Brown. I knew it. He was just taking the time of his life explaining the Cleveland Brown pick. I knew it.
What I personally, I have a ton of Christian McCaffrey shares, an absolute ton of Christian McCaffrey shares. So if it's me drafting here in the 4th round, I probably take Jordan James. But in a super flex, like somebody that goes at that kind of capital over Shedeur or over whoever, and I really feel bad for the guy because, the crowd's cheering Shedeur, and he's like, I was drafted ahead of him, but I think Dylan Gabriel, they really liked him. The Browns really liked him. If you look at the phone call, if you watch the phone call on draft night to Dylan Gabriel and you see the coaches and the GM's excitement, and then you fast forward and you watch the phone call they made to Shedeur, there is a very different reaction from the coaches in those rooms as they made those phone calls. So, if you got to take a deep grab, sure, it's the end of the 4th.
Yeah, I get it.
I actually like Dylan Gabriel a lot. I was hoping he would end up somewhere where he's not competing with Shedeur Sanders, who got drafted in the 5th round. That wasn't on my bingo card, but it is what it is. I still like him a lot, so I like your pick there. All right, I'm sticking to the whole concept of drafting archetypes and historical data information. And I don't think a lot of people are familiar with this name. They shouldn't be. But historically, Josh McDaniels in the New England Patriots, there's a certain kind of undrafted white slot back that always tends to produce and be absolutely spectacular. And if you look at Efton Chisholm on the New England Patriots out of Eastern Washington, he actually has like a lot of Eastern Washington record. You know who else went to Eastern Washington as a white weird slot
I thought this
player?
was a Lan Larison build up. I would totally misread where you were going.
You didn't think it was Efton Chisholm? Yeah,
No,
So,
I thought you were going Lan Larison. I thought you were going again
yeah.
I missed that totally.
My player comp is like somewhere between Cooper Kupp and Julian Edelman, not because of the color, but he was incredibly productive. And this is obviously not an immediate thing, but if you look at archetype scheme fit, he's going to find a way in the roster in the next 2 to 3 years. So he's definitely my favorite last stash play in fantasy. And this is just the homer in me.
Love it. So DBro, you get to kind of finish out the draft, and you get the honor, the privilege, the grandiose deal of picking Mr. Irrelevant for our rookie draft. So everybody that's left that could be a sleeper, could be a potential person, is on the board, and you have the job to prioritize out of all of them who is the most worth it selection at the last pick of the draft.
Man, there's a lot of different ways I could go with this. I could draft Shedeur Sanders here, but again, my problem with putting draft capital behind Shedeur, and I'll take a shot on him like the end of 3rd round, 4th rounds in a lot of different drafts. My problem with Shedeur is if anything happens to that front office and coaching staff after this year, you're talking about a quarterback that doesn't have any draft capital behind his name. So unless he just wows the world, does he keep the job?
Unless they hire Dion.
I mean, so I'm not going to go with Shedeur here. There's a lot of I can make a case for tight end premium. I can make a case for Gunnar Helm. I could talk about Kyle Monangai, Oronde Gadsden. I could even go as deep as Mitchell Evans, Thomas Fidone. But I'm going to go ahead and just take Savion Williams here. I think the 3rd round capital by the Green Bay Packers says a ton. I think the Green Bay Packers, there is a world we're living in possibly where the Green Bay Packers say, yeah, Jayden Reed's been okay, but Jayden Reed has not been what we wanted to be in this offense, and Savion Williams could be their Deebo Samuel in Green Bay. I could see it happening, man.
I was waiting for you to make that pick. I was like, he has not taken Savion yet. I cannot take him because I have Golden. So
I can't take him because he committed.
Well, you only draft Arkansas or Green Bay. I mean,
No,
Arkansas,
see, my issue
Razorbacks, or
is he
Cleveland Browns.
committed to Arkansas and then he decommitted.
Oh,
and
so
went to
you got
TCU.
spurned. So that's why you didn't draft him. Well, good to know.
Okay, so I love it. I appreciate the draft. There it is for you guys. It's there on the screen. We're gonna kind of round this thing out with obviously after the draft. It is a waiver wire spin shenanigans, right? To try to get some of these leftovers. So I mean, we'll just kind of go around the room. We'll start you, Joe, then go Disco, then DBro, and I'll kind of round it out. Or I guess we can go in draft order. We'll go Joe, me, and then Disco and DBro. Who is the guy, like, if you're going to spin fab, right? If you're going to spin fab and you're going to try to grab somebody that could be your Restrepo of the NFL draft, like, who's that going to be? Just give the audience at least one solid player.
Yeah, Derek already mentioned him, but Kyle, the fun guy, Manon guy, went to the Bears. There's not a lot of running backs up there. I also just love to say that name, so I wouldn't spend too much fab on it, but I would throw a couple dollars at it because fab isn't real money.
Love it. Hold on, I've got to retool now. Go ahead, Disco.
So I don't believe in Hunter Henry as a New England Patriots fan. We brought in this really talented tight end from Alabama as an undrafted free agent, CJ Dipray from Bama. A big fan, great talent. He can block like no tomorrow, and he's very athletic.
Awesome. I'm gonna go here, and this is not necessarily a player thing. I'm gonna say, I mean, if he goes undrafted, I haven't seen a ton of drafts where he goes undrafted, but Ollie Gordon, this Miami offense cannot keep running backs healthy. They can't. Like that has been Mike McDaniel's thing. Like he cannot keep running backs healthy. We saw it in San Francisco. We see it in Miami. And the difference is Ollie Gordon is like the one thing that they haven't had. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of really small, light, scat back, fast players. And I think that obviously he had good production in college. I think that he's a solid grab here late. Especially in undrafted free agents, I'm going to try to target him just for potential.
I like it. I'm just going to kind of word vomit here and kind of spray the board here. There's a bunch of different guys that I want like after and waivers. We have not talked about, and I'm just going to go with the guys we have not talked about yet. Jordan Watkins, I thought he was the arbitrage play off of Jalen Knoll. Inside, outside wide receiver, fast, physical. He goes to San Francisco in the 4th round. Juwan Jennings is probably going to leave after this season. He's a free agent, so you could be looking at a guy that could be starting for the 49ers next year. Dante Thornton, really only if I'm in a Dynasty Best Ball League, that's where I want to go with Thornton. We know what he's going to do, man. He's fast. He's big. He's going to run deep overs, go routes. Like, he is your MBS. He's the guy that's going to lead to spike weeks. If Geno's chucking it deep, it's probably to Dante Thornton Jr. If you're in tight end premium, bro, I mean, I can make you a case for Gunnar Helm being the starting tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Thomas Fedone. Like, the Giants have gone after this archetype of big and super athletic year after year after year. Theo Johnson is coming off of a foot injury. Daniel Bellinger never turned out to be anything. Fedone is a guy that, like, Nebraska could not have used him any worse than they possibly did. Massive RAS score guy, like almost a perfect 10. And the last
route runner.
Dude, he's the big. I think there's 2 reasons why I felt like he went to the 7th round. One, it's the medicals, because you tear both your ACLs in college, not good. Okay. The other part about that is Nebraska wasn't throwing the ball, so he wasn't going to have the analytics and the numbers. But you turn on the film, he jumps off the page.
Yeah.
2 other names for tight end premium people. Mitchell Evans, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, he would have gone higher in the draft. He is the most complete tight end on the Carolina Panthers roster. And I'll also throw in Gavin Bartholomew here. Bartholomew just didn't get utilized well. Like Pittsburgh basically said, we're going to ask you to chip and run out into the flat every single time or stay in line and block. He has the athletic measurables. If you were to tell me flip over the cards, I think he is the Josh Oliver replacement as the tight end 2 in that roster behind Hawkinson for Minnesota. If you were to flip over the cards and you tell me we are 2 to 3 years down the line and I'm saying stash this guy on a taxi squad, and we look up and Gavin Bartholomew is a solid starting tight end in the NFL. He's like K-Dot-ish, where he's a top 12 to 15 tight end and a really good offense. I'm not going to be surprised at all because he's got all of the raw intangibles to be a solid league average starting tight end. And if he scores touchdowns and a good offense, that leads to maybe low TE1 production in a season.
Good stuff. Well, I hope you got the juice. I hope you got some good stuff from this show tonight. I will split this into 2 episodes for the replay. What a crew, man. Disco, DBro, thank you so much for coming on. This is your first time from the forum. Audience, hit that like button, hit the subscribe. Again, appreciate you all for tuning in. Getting some love there. Disco Raid, pardon me, didn't see that earlier. Joe, who is the Matt Collins of this group?
You know who it's going to be? Ricky White III, 7th round wide receiver for what other team than the Seattle Seahawks?
Why do you have this information readily?
Because he blocked 4 kicks last year, which is just like insane.
Well, because he's a Seattle Seahawk. We're keeping the trends alive here.
Yeah, the trend's alive, right? Yeah. James says, great show, gents.
Important.
Appreciate it.
Love you, James.
Look, you guys, the people tuning the show, you're awesome. Guests, DBro, Disco, awesome. Thanks, everybody. As you know, 9 o'clock every Friday night from the forum. We'll see you next week. Make sure you check out fantasysportsadvice.com and have a good night. We will see you later.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com